Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position. And Richards completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Hamilton, Leclerc, Norris, Verstappen, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Albon, Ocon, Tsunoda, Stroll, Magnussen, Sargent, Hülkenberg, Bottas, and Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. Anthony Davidson will be sharing his insight alongside me once again today. What should we be looking out for, Ant? Should we kick off our conversation with George Russell?
Well, it was a really impressive lap in qualifying to get pole position, but are they going to be able to hold on to the lead into the first corner with so many quick starters around them? I'm also looking forward to seeing the different strategies in play today. Those who are starting on the red marked soft tyre are going to have a little bit more grip early on, but they have to make it count before that degradation starts to set in.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going. We're not seeing any technical issues coming off the practice starts. Watch the RPM on the full start. We don't want you to bog down. Got that confirmed. Okay, the static over the radio. Say it again. Repeat that. I've got some interference here. No threat of rain for the time being, conditions look good. Okay, good parking there, mate. Now we need to make sure we get a great launch as the race starts. Okay, so that's the rest of the grid forming up now. Be patient and watch for those lights. Norris behind. We've got a lot of spare energy, okay to use your overtake button. DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone. Didn't receive that. Repeat the message. Repeat the message. Okay, Russell's ahead. Okay, gap ahead is 1.5 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. Their tyres are 2 laps old. Your last lap time was a 1 minute 50.3. Okay, so you're gaining by 1/10 a lap. Information on site. They've got some kind of mechanical problem. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 0.7 seconds. place, you're in second place. That's Russell just ahead. Push for the position. Our gap to the car in front is 1.0 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. Hamilton behind you now. And the gap behind us is 4.0 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. Job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far. Okay, you're sat in P2. Russell's ahead of you now. Okay, gap to the car ahead is 1.3 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. That's Hamilton behind. We're leading the car behind by 4.7 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go. And 11 laps to go. No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving. Please repeat, you're breaking up. I didn't catch that, mate. Just say it again. Second place, you're in second place. Okay, Russell's ahead. Okay, here's the gap that we're trailing the car ahead by. 1.0 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. Hamilton behind you now. Okay, gap to the car behind. Car behind. 5.2 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. Say that again, we're having trouble receiving you. Okay, the static over the radio, say it again. Okay, you sat in P2. That's Russell just ahead. Push for the position. Okay, keep an eye on that gap ahead, please. 1.8 seconds. They're on old mediums. That's Hamilton behind. Okay, car behind trailing us. 4.6 seconds. They're on old mediums. Look after these tyres now. You want to finish the race on this compound. Repeat that. I've got some interference here. Didn't receive that. Repeat the message. Repeat the message. Okay, we've got 10 laps of fuel to go. 10 laps of fuel left. Okay, push, push. Gap to the car behind. 4.6 seconds. Gap to your teammate behind is 25.1 seconds. They're on old mediums. They're in 19th place. Time last lap was a 1:52.7. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 25.8 seconds. Second second place. You're in second place. Russell's ahead of you now. Okay, so the gap to the car ahead, 2.8 seconds. They're on old mediums. Leclerc is behind you. Okay, so the gap to the car behind is 4.2 seconds. They're on old mediums. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go. Okay, 7 laps to go. Nine laps of fuel to go. 9 laps left. Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. Battery charge is high, let's use that overtake button a bit more. Leclerc behind. Our gap behind is 3.8 seconds. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 11 laps old now, and the time last lap was a 1 minute 51.0. And that's 8 laps of fuel remaining. Hamilton's behind you now. Okay, the gap behind is 4.4 seconds. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 12 laps old. Your last lap time was a 1:52.2. caution. Okay, clear. Okay, you're sat in P2. Okay, Russell's ahead. And gap to the car in front is 4.8 seconds. They're on old mediums. That's Hamilton behind. And the gap behind us is 2.7 seconds. They're on old mediums. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. 4 laps remaining. Please repeat, you're breaking up. I didn't catch that, mate. Just say it again. Say that again. We're having trouble receiving you. Car behind by 2.8 seconds. Gap to your teammate behind is 32.7 seconds. Okay, the static over the radio. Say it again. Second place, you're in second place. That's Russell just ahead. Push for the position. Okay, gap ahead is 4.8 seconds. They're on old mediums. Hamilton's behind you now. Okay, gap to the car behind. Car behind, 2.5 seconds. They're on old mediums. Look after these tyres now. You want to finish the race on this compound. Come on, just 3 laps to go. 3 laps. And that's just 5 laps of fuel remaining. Be aware, the grip levels are going to start falling away soon. Okay, car behind trailing us, 2.2 seconds. that. I've got some interference here. Didn't receive that. Repeat the message. Repeat the message. OK, you're sat in P2. Russell's ahead of you now. Our gap to the car in front is 5.9 seconds. They're on old mediums. That's Hamilton behind. OK, push, push. Gap to the car behind. 1.7 seconds. They're on old mediums. OK, mate, this is the final lap of the race. Final lap. Hamilton behind you now. OK, so the gap to the car behind is 1.5 seconds. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 16 laps old. Time last lap was a 1 minute 52.2. Thank you. Thank you for all your hard work out there. That was a really strong drive and a great finish. Well done.
So let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Well, it wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. With the sprint wrapped up, we now have our grid line up for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.